Hi everybody, and welcome to Studio Y. My name is Stacey and I'm a chair yoga instructor here at the Y. I hope you're all doing well. I know this is sort of a trying time for folks, but I think if we practice a little yoga together, it may make you feel a little bit better. So if you haven't tried chair yoga, it's actually a wonderful way to practice yoga without having to get up and down onto the floor and back up again. So it's suitable for all levels, and most people really enjoy it. And if you have been practicing yoga with me all along, hi guys, to my students, I miss you guys, hope to see you soon. If you don't already, make sure you have a chair available to you. And you can use either a folding chair or any kitchen chair will work. The only thing that won't work probably is if it's on wheels. So find a chair if you don't have one set up. And just make sure, give it a little push, make sure it's not going to slide. If you find it's going to slide, maybe place a mat under it, or but even better if you have a yoga mat, then set it up on top of your yoga mat. Okay, and also a little bit more about the safety portion of chair yoga. Please make sure, besides slipping, make sure your chair is stable, but also make sure that you don't do anything that may cause pain or discomfort. For instance, we do some movements where we bring our arms up like this, and you can either go to here, wherever's comfortable for you if you have a shoulder issue. So really listen to your body. All right, and with that, we're going to get started. So go ahead and have a seat in your chair. And we're going to just start off with some mindful breathing. The breath is connected to the nervous system, and the nervous system is connected to the breath. So it's really helpful to sort of calm ourselves down, release anxiety, by just sitting and breathing for a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds even. So just kind of sit back in your chair and relax your shoulders. And if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes, or maybe softly gaze downward. And just take a moment here to just get quiet and take some breaths. And see if you can find a sense of balance so that your inhales and your exhales are the same length. And if it's helpful to you, you can do a count. Maybe inhale for a count of 3. And exhale for a count of 3. Or you can say a mantra to yourself. I breathe in. I breathe out. So let's just take a moment here and do maybe 5 breath cycles. And after the 5th breath, you can just start to invite a little bit of movement back into your body and open up your eyes. And we'll begin our yoga practice in mountain pose in the chair. So mountain pose, we're going to slide to the top half or the top third of the chair seat. And then just take a moment to get balanced. And while we're here, just a quick mention, you notice I'm not wearing shoes or socks here, I'm barefoot. And that sense of being barefoot is very grounding. So if you can feel comfortable enough to take off your shoes or your socks, go ahead and do so. And then stack your knees up over your ankles with your toes pointed straight ahead. And rest your hands on your knees or on your thighs and find a tall spine here. So kind of draw the crown of your head toward the ceiling. Maybe imagine you have a string attached to the top of your head and someone just pulling on that string. And now let your shoulder blades just roll down your back, let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And just feel this nice balance in your body. Take a breath. And we're going to start with warm-ups here. We're going to warm up the neck first. Inhale. And as you exhale, just let the chin slowly release to the chest. Make sure that doesn't bother your neck. It should feel like a gentle stretch in the back of the neck. And just hold and take a breath. And then slowly on the inhale, just bring your head back to center. Good. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. On the inhalation, you're going to slowly lift your chin and gaze upward. Take a breath. And then inhale, bring your head back to center. And now exhale and let your right ear kind of fall toward your right shoulder. And just feel that stretch on the left side of the neck. Take a breath, and then we're going to add a little bit of movement in. If it doesn't bother your neck here, just make some micro circles one way. And then the other way. And then inhale and bring your head back to center. Good. All right, let's go to the other side. Inhale. Exhale the left ear to the left shoulder. Feel that stretch on the right. And then we'll add those little circles in. One way, and then the opposite direction. Good, and then bring your head back to center. Good. And now once again, let's come back to that relaxed shoulders, tall spine, and take a breath. And now we're going to move to the shoulders. So make some big shoulder rolls forward. Good, and then shoulder rolls backward. And then back to center. We're going to bring our fingertips to our shoulders here. Bring your elbows up a little bit so they're about shoulder height. And as you inhale, just open up your elbows here and lift your chest. You can send your gaze upward. And as you exhale, just bring your elbows to touch, maybe chin to chest. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. So we're moving with our breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And let's do one more round. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Good. All right, release. Shoulders roll down, away from the ears. Take a breath. Now on the next inhale, take your arms out into a T position. And really feel that energy from fingertip to fingertip. Big stretch here. Allow the shoulders to be relaxed away from the ears. And let's rotate the palms to the ceiling. Good. Take a breath. Rotate your palms back down, and then see how it feels to rotate your palms all the way around so they face behind you. And take a breath. We'll release our arms, bring your hands behind your back, and then just see if you open up your shoulders here, how far you can reach to the opposite elbow or opposite forearm. Let the shoulder blades roll down your back. We'll send our gaze up. Opening up the chest and shoulders, take some breaths. Generally, we like to hold a pose for 3 to 5 breaths. And then send your gaze forward and release out of the pose. Good. Shoulders roll back and down. And just feel that sense of opening that you created in your body. All right, let's take a big sun breath here. Both arms come up overhead. Inhale as you extend upward. And then exhale, come to prayer position. Let's just give the fingers a stretch. Interlace your fingers. Stretch your hands away from you. Good. Deep breaths here. And we'll stay on the hands a little bit longer. So open and close your fingers. Your hands and your knuckles moving. This is really helpful if you have arthritis. Play the piano. Get the whole keyboard. And then some wrist circles. I hear some cracking, that's okay. All right, and then reverse prayer. So we're going to press the back of the hands together. The fingers are down. Take some breaths here. This is a nice little counter stretch. And you can go in and out with your fingers. To you, away from you, in, out, in, out, in, out. Good, all right, let your arms dangle here. Shake them out, shake your hands out. Just get the circulation going in your hands and fingers. Big shake. And then just release back to your lap, and come back to that mountain position and check in. Notice the energy you're feeling here. Take a few breaths. All right, so now let's get into our center a little bit here. Warm up our core and our spine. So maybe taking your feet a little bit wider than you were already in mountain, just a few inches apart further. And find that tall spine again, and with your hands on your legs, just start to make some rotations. Just circle around and see how that feels. Make big circles, small, whatever feels right. And then pause, reverse your circles. Bring some movement to our core, into our spine. And then come back to that mountain position again. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, shoulders down away from the ears. Good. All right, so let's really warm up the spine a little bit more. We're going to do cat-cow with the chair. So this is really going to get your spine moving. If you've been sedentary, sitting around a little bit, this is going to feel really good. So starting with that tall spine on the inhale, and on the exhale, we'll slide the hands to the knees, round the spine. We're curling here, chin to chest. And on the inhale, we're going to come back up slowly, sliding your hands back up your legs, and opening your shoulders, lifting your chest to the ceiling, and slightly gazing upward. We'll exhale back to that rounded spine. This is cat. Think about an angry cat, how they arch their upper back, or around their upper back. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs, lift the chest, open it up. This is cow. Exhale back to cat. Inhale, slide open, back to cow. And now do two more on your own. And when you're done, we'll return to our mountain position and just check in. Take a breath, see what you notice. All right, good. So now we're ready for a twist here. So maintaining this alignment that you're in now is important when you're twisting. You want to stay in this mountain alignment with knees over ankles, crown of the head over the tailbone, nice and straight with your spine. So we're going to start here. And then find a place behind you on your chair to hold. You can hold the back of the chair if that's available to you, or the side of the chair. Depends what kind of chair you have. But see if you can take that right hand and take it behind you and cross the left hand to the outside of the right leg. And with that tall spine, take an inhale. And then exhale and just gently see if you can take a little twist from your waist. And see how that feels. Just maybe a gentle gaze over the right shoulder, taking some breaths, see how that feels. This is almost like a rinsing out sensation in your body. Two more breaths. And with that tall spine, we'll slowly return back to center and find your mountain, shoulders down. Take a breath. All right, we're going to switch to the other side. So this time it's the left hand that reaches behind. The right hand crosses. Inhale, get nice and tall before moving into your twist. Create some space in your spine. And then exhale into that twist. Nice, steady breathing. And by the way, in yoga we want to keep the breath nice and steady. Make sure you're always keeping the breath flowing freely. Good. And slowly return back to center. Returning to your mountain position, shoulders back and down. Good. And just taking a moment again to check in, see how that feels in your body. And then the next pose we're going to do is up dog in the chair, or upward facing dog in the chair. And this one should feel really good, especially if you've been home or maybe sedentary and you're sort of down and looking down a lot. So this is going to open you up. So make sure you're in the top portion of your seat, maybe the top third of your chair. Reach both hands behind. Hopefully you have something to hold behind you on the chair. Maybe the right above the seat, the sides of the chair, somewhere where you can hold, and that you feel your shoulders sort of opening up a little bit. So once you feel that, let your shoulder blades release down your back and lift your chest upward, gaze upward, and just feel that expansion, that opening through here. And this is an upward energy here, so feel that in your body. This really opens up all these areas that are tight in your chest, opens up your collarbones, even opens up, creates a little more space in your lungs. 2 more breaths. Good, all right. Slowly release out of the pose. Let your hands rest back on your legs, shoulders down, and just feel, notice how good that feels. So from here, we're going to get into the lower body a little bit, the hips, the hamstrings. So we're going to start with a wider stance here, just taking your feet out a little bit wider here. Turn your toes out, and in this more of a straddle position, find that tall spine again. And maybe pull your navel in toward your spine a little bit to engage your abdominal muscles. And with this nice tall spine here, let's create some energy. Arms come out into that T position. Shoulder blades roll down. Fingers are extending in opposite directions. Feel that energy. Take some breaths. If it doesn't bother your neck, you can turn and gaze over the right hand. This is sort of a variation of Warrior 2. A couple of breaths here. And then inhale, bring your head to center, and we'll exhale, turn your head to the left. Feel all that energy in your body. 2 more breaths. Inhale to center. We're going to turn the palms up and reach the arms up. Now, if you have a shoulder issue, bring your hands to prayer instead in front of your heart. Exhale, shoulders down away from your ears. Good. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. Maybe send your gaze up. Lots of energy in your body. And on the inhale, let's all come to prayer position here as we prepare for a forward fold. So again, make sure that your abdominals are engaged. So pull the navel in toward the spine. I always tell my students, it's like you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. All right, so bring your hands to your thighs here, keeping your chest up, back flat, just sort of hinge from the hips, and just draw your chest forward. Make sure you're stable on your seat, by the way. If you're too far forward, maybe slide back a little bit. And then just feel that stretch in your hips, your hip flexors, maybe even your inner thighs. Take a few breaths, maybe a little bit further, and just see how that feels. Good. Slowly with that flat back, come back up. You can press your hands into your thighs. Take it slow. Good. And once you're back in that upright position, just take a breath. And we're going to heel toe our feet back to our mountain position. And we've come back to that nice tall spine again. All right. So now that we're getting into the lower body a little bit, let's focus a little bit more on the hips. So before we get into the next pose, I like to warm up the hips. So just taking your hands and interlacing your fingers behind or underneath your right thigh. Just take that right foot off the floor if that's available to you. And make some rotations. Just kind of warm up that hip joint, that ball and socket joint. Just bring some movement into it. And again, listen to your body. If this bothers your low back or just doesn't feel right, then just back off. And you can reverse the circles. And now that we've gotten the hip a little bit warmed up, we're going to take pigeon pose in the chair. So for pigeon pose, a few options. Option number one, crossing that same leg, that ankle over the opposite thigh, and just holding here with a tall spine. Now this is a lot, this is a pretty high reach for a lot of folks. So a couple of other variations of the pose, you can do this with it crossed over like so, or even doing ankle over ankle. Okay, so find what works for you. And return to that tall spine again. See what you notice here, and if it's available to you and you would like to maybe explore going a little bit deeper, you can hinge from the hips, heart comes forward, and just get into that hip a little bit more. So just holding the pose, make sure you're not holding your breath, and just breathe into your body here and just feel that stretch. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. When you are ready, just ground that foot that's on the floor into the mat and come back up or into the floor. All right, good. And then support that leg as you bring the foot back to the mat or the floor. All right, come back to your mountain. Take a breath, check in as always. And let's move to the other side. So interlacing the fingers behind the back of the left leg, and then just making those rotations. Just warming up that left hip. And then the opposite direction. All right. And when you are ready, you can move into whatever version of pigeon works, and it may be different on this side than the other side. And once you have arrived into the pose, just find that tall spine. Relax the shoulders, check in, and if it's available to you, maybe explore going deeper. If you are hinging forward a little bit, just remember, chest stays up. Try not to get round here. That will put strain on your low back. Just take a few breaths. Ready to come up? Root and ground the right foot into the floor. Come up slowly. And supporting that left leg, bring the foot back to the floor or your mat. Inhale tall, exhale shoulders down. All right, good. So one last pose seated, and this is a hamstring stretch. So this is so useful to have available to you whenever you just need a good stretch. While you're seated, you can do this one. So we're going to start by extending the right heel to the floor with the leg extended, toes up. And we're going to keep that knee as soft as you need it to be. Try not to lock out the knee of that leg. The left foot is still in that mountain position, knee over ankle. And you're going to hold on to the underside of your chair if you can, or somewhere on the chair for support. Inhale. And as you exhale, again, we're just sort of hinging from the hips and drawing the chest forward. Check in, make sure you didn't lock that knee again. And just hold and breathe. Again, useful here to hold the breath for 3 to 5 breaths. When you are ready, root and ground the left foot. That will help you come up. And bring that right foot back down. Good. And just take a moment here. Take a breath. Check in. And we'll switch to the left leg. So when you're ready, the left leg extends. Heel down, toes up. Make sure your heel is on the floor. And relax that knee, or even soften the knee or bend it, and hold onto the chair for support. Inhale, exhale, and come into that stretch. Just let your body just gently open and stretch without any force. Last 2 breaths. Really try to let go in the pose. And when you're ready, that right foot grounds as you rise up. The left foot comes back down. Inhale tall, exhale shoulders down. Take a breath. All right, so we're almost ready to stand up and get some standing poses in. But before we do, let's just bring some energy into the body. And we'll do some sun breaths. So I love doing sun breaths. You're moving with your breath, you're stretching. It just they feel really good to do. So shoulders back and down to start. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, prayer. And again, that modification for all the way up is halfway up. Exhale, prayer. So we're expanding on the inhale, coming to prayer on the exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, prayer. And now just do a few more on your own. Good, and let's come back to our prayer position and just feel that energy. Notice your heart rate up a little bit. And then back to mountain. All right. So now we will come to the standing portion of our practice today. So you can come on up out of your chair. And again, make sure that you have stability. I'm going to move my chair to the top of your mat. Those of you who have mats under your chairs, bring your chair to the very top or front part of your mat. And if you don't have a mat, again, make sure that your chair isn't going to slide. If you kind of push into the chair, it's not going to slip and slide. If it is, a few things you can do. You can maybe bring the chair against a wall or something to keep it stable, or put a mat or something under it. If you run a rug, that may be helpful as well. So, okay, also make sure you have lots of space behind you. We're going to be stepping back. So if it's a mat, then make sure your chair is at the top of your mat. Otherwise, just make sure you have a nice bit of space behind you for stepping back or stretching backwards. All right, so we're going to start off our standing practice with standing mountain. And again, very similar. We're going to stack the knees over the ankles, toes point forward. We want our feet to be about hip-width distance, more or less. Place the feet where you are most stable. And then just if it's available to you, to just let your hands come down, shoulders down, palms face forward. And again, we're just feeling stable and balanced, strong, grounded, lifted, but also very steady. Take some breaths. Exhale away any tension from your shoulders, from your kneecaps, from your jaw. Good. All right, let's take a sun breath here. Let's try that. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, prayer, maybe two more. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, prayer. In one more. Good. Exhale, prayer. From here, hold on to the chair, maybe take a small step back. And back to that mountain position with your feet. Fingers are holding onto the chair for this one. And you're just going to rock from toes to heels. We're just going to warm up our feet a little bit, our ankles, our calves. So toes to heels here. And those of you who want to explore a little bit, get a little brave, maybe one hand. Just to explore your balance. One finger. Good, and then back down and maybe just come up onto just your toes and balance and take some breath here. Good, and then exhale and release. And from here, just shake out your legs a little bit. Come back to your mountain. So let's get into our first yoga pose, and this is standing yoga pose, and this is called tabletop. So I'm going to turn to the side just so that you can get a better visual, but you guys stay right where you are behind your chair. And holding the chair, I'm going to demonstrate the first round for you so you can see what the pose looks like in my body, and then you can go ahead and try it. So fingers stay on the chair. We're going to step back until our arms are long. The feet are in that mountain position. Knees can bend or soften here. Draw your hips back and see if you can come to a flat back here. Just let your knees bend as much as you need to. And take some breaths. We want to be gazing downward at the floor. I'm going to come out of the pose so that you can hear me. You're gazing down at the floor. You're going to hold that pose for a few more breaths. And then slowly make your way back to your chair. Walk it back slowly. And then just take a slow roll up to standing and roll your shoulders down. Come back to that mountain position. All right, so let's all do it again. One more time. Fingers to the chair. Walk it back. Walk your back. When your arms are long, that's far enough. Make sure your feet are in that mountain position. Soft knees are fine here. Send your hips back. Send your chest down. Send your head down. Let your head come between your arms if that's available to you. And if not, maybe bend your knees more and see if that helps. And just breathe. Feel that beautiful stretch in the shoulders, the legs, the spine. And we'll slowly bring it back to the chair. Just walk it back slowly. Take your time, roll back up to that standing position. And once you're steady here, you can come back to your mountain and just take some breaths. All right, beautiful. We're going to do one more yoga pose, and this is called Warrior One. I'm going to walk you through it. So, standing in that mountain position behind your chair, we're going to take our feet just a tiny bit wider than mountain here. And holding the chair to begin, step your right foot behind you and send that left knee forward so it stacks over the left ankle. And then maybe start to root the feet down. Make sure your hips are facing the chair and you're not turned to one side, but try to get forward facing with your body. And once you have that stability, that base of support with your legs, you can start to come off the chair with your hands. If you're steady here, you can take your arms up, or maybe hold the chair if you need it with one hand. And then exhale, just let your shoulders relax down. That left knee is bent and stacked over the left ankle, and that right leg is strong and straight. 2 more breaths. And then inhale to prayer. Find your chair with your hands, and then step that back foot forward. Good, let's kind of shake out the legs a little bit. Take a reset here, come back to mountain. And we'll switch sides. So again, we're holding the chair. We're taking the feet out a little bit wider. That's going to give us a little more stability in our warrior. And this time we'll send the left leg back. And then that you can maybe explore before taking your hands away. Send that right knee forward, stack it over the ankle. Build that foundation. And then you can sort of gradually make your way off the chair with your hands. Sweep up if you're steady. Relax your shoulders down. Breathe here, Warrior One. Very empowering pose. It's good for balance, strength, stability. And to come out, inhale prayer. Reach for your chair and step that back foot forward. All right, good. Shoulders back and down, mountain pose. All right, we'll do one last standing pose before we take it back to the chair. Shake it out first. I'm going to take mountain pose here. So tree pose. And for tree pose, there are several variations of the pose. So my suggestion is to see what works best for your chair. I'm going to just step a little bit to the side so that you can see my whole body here for a moment. And you're going to be staying behind your chair though. So we're going to start off by finding that mountain position, holding onto the chair with two hands, and we're going to shift onto the left leg, or shift your weight onto your left leg, and take your right foot off the floor. And just maybe hold for a few breaths. This may be where you want to stay, which is perfectly fine. Or you can take that right hand and open up that knee so it's facing the side. Press the sole of that right foot into the lower part of the standing leg. Maybe the toes touch the floor. And then just take a few breaths. And if it's available to you, maybe bring that right hand to your heart. Maybe just holding with one finger. This is where you explore, but stay safe. Maybe both hands come off, maybe not. And then release, release, release. Good. All right. So let's do that same sequence on the other side. Shake out. I'm just going to step to the side so that you can see the mechanics going on here, but you're staying behind your chair, holding with two hands. Root, ground, lift, lengthen, shoulders back and down. And when you're ready, you're shifting onto the right leg, left foot comes off. And now you can explore your version of tree. It's also helpful once you find it to softly gaze at one spot. Keep your breath relaxed. Maybe that left hand comes to your heart, maybe both, maybe not. Ready, release out of the pose, back to your mountain position, check in, inhale, take a last sun breath here, exhale, prayer. We're going to make our way back to our chairs. So, you might want to pull your chair back a little bit, and let's come back down. All right, come back to your seated mountain again. Again, all about balance, knees over ankles, tall spine, shoulders back and down. And let's also come back to our breath. So we're going to do that balance breathing that we did earlier, which is inhale for 3, exhale for 3, or I breathe in, I breathe out. Just want to bring everything back down. All right, good. From here, we're going to revisit our cat stretch. So if you remember, we slid the hands to the knees, we rounded the spine, chin to chest. We're going to stay here and do just a few more rounds of that balanced breath. Slowly bring yourself back up. And now it's time to relax. So one of the best parts of a yoga practice is the last portion, which is called Shavasana. And Shavasana is all about relaxation, of letting go. So in the chair, we're just going to make ourselves very comfortable. So see if you can kind of get into a very relaxed position. Maybe turn your chair into a lazy boy recliner. And then just kind of slide down in the chair, let your knees fall open, maybe let your Shoulders fall down or fall away from your ears here, and just close your eyes. And just rest your hands on your legs. And in yoga, we turn our palms open when we're in Shavasana, and that represents the idea of receiving. So what do you need to receive right now in your body? Let's take some breaths here. We're just going to revisit our breathing. And earlier we did a 3-count inhale and a 3-count exhale. But for Shavasana, we're going to do a much more relaxed, calming breath. And this is very helpful to do even when you're not in Shavasana, maybe when you're feeling stressed out. So this is going to be an inhale for a count of 3 and an exhale for a count of 5. So with your eyes closed and your palms open, inhale for 3 and exhale for a count of 5. So your exhales are almost twice as long as your inhales. Notice as you're exhaling, the muscles in your body are relaxing, are releasing, are softening. And with that, give yourself permission to really let go and relax. And we'll just stay here in our relaxation for a few more breaths. Job. So come back to your regular breathing. And with your eyes closed, you can slowly return back up in your chair. Slowly open your eyes. And we'll close our yoga practice today. So let's bring our hands to prayer. You can join me if you like. Inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me today for our chair yoga practice. Just want to do a quick reminder. If you check out our Facebook page and our website, you'll see some more virtual classes. We'll have a virtual class schedule posted, or you can go to YouTube and see more videos like this. So thanks guys. Be safe out there. Be healthy. See you soon.